Hey guys, it's JC Theater Yu-Gi-Oh here today, and I'm coming at you with a Litmus Doom Swordsman deck profile for you guys. I have recently been kind of burnt out with Yu-Gi-Oh, you could say, in terms of like wanting to give you guys like very, obviously by what you've seen in my deck profiles, not super meta, but like somewhat relevant strategies and stuff like that. But then I was like, I just want to make decks for fun ultimately, and I thought this was very fun because, as you may be aware, it's just this card and its ritual spell and nothing else. So I figured we could make this guy the main focus of the deck and see what we could do with it, and that's what this deck is for you guys. So without further ado, here is my Litmus Doom Swordsman deck profile. So first up, you want to start, of course, with the 3 copies of Litmus Doom Swordsman. Now, Litmus Doom Swordsman is level 8 with 0 attack and 0 defense, and he's Dark Attribute. The level 8 and the Dark Attribute definitely come in handy a little later in the deck profile, but for now he can only be ritual summoned with a Litmus Doom Ritual, which is his ritual, and he's unaffected by trap cards and cannot be destroyed by battle. And he gains 3,000 attack and defense while a trap card is on the field. And then if his ritual summon self is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or card effect, you can target one trap in either graveyard and set it to your spell and trap card zone. So this is definitely good for some trap recursion. Additionally, ultimately, he's just super good, and he's like the main focus of the deck because he is like a 3k beater. So on top of the theme of level 8 dark monsters, of course, we have to run the Danger Engine, which in this build is going to be 3 Danger Bigfoot, which his unique effect, if you don't know about the danger monsters, you reveal them in your hand and then you shuffle them with the rest of your hand, and your opponent randomly chooses one of the cards in your hand to discard. And then if the card discarded was not the same name as the revealed danger monster, you can special summon out the danger monster that's still in your hand and you get to draw a card. If you do end up discarding a monster with the same name as the monster revealed, as the danger monster revealed, then they each have a unique effect. Bigfoot's is that he pops a monster on the field. Next up, we have 3 copies of Danger Thunderbird, who its special effect is that it pops a spell or trap on the field. And then an interesting one I'm also running is 3 Danger Ogopogo, which its special effect is you can Foolish Burial a danger card except another copy of Ogopogo from your deck to the graveyard to help both deck thin, and also we're playing a card that this effect actually helps out with. Next up, for one of the 2 monsters that I can normal summon in the deck, I have, of course, 3 Manju of the 10,000 hands. When it's normal summoned, you can search either a ritual monster or a ritual spell, so it's good to get either one you are missing. And then finally, because this deck revolves around using the dangers either for field advantage or drawing, or simply discard fodder for, of course, some draw engines, as well as being level 8 for the ritual summon, this deck doesn't use a lot of normal summons. This is your most important normal summon here for the fact that it helps you get to your ritual cards that you need. But I figured, since, again, I made this deck for fun, I think a really good card in this deck is actually 3 copies of Iperia. Iperia is a very bad card because all it is it's a level 2 monster that when it's summoned, you draw a card and you can only use that effect hard once per turn. So if you normal summon it, send it to the graveyard, monster reborn it, or anything like that, as long as it's in the same turn, that effect will only happen once. But the good part about Iperia is the fact that you don't really use your normal summon, but you still want to go through your main phase and stuff, which is why I'm not playing cards like Card D or anything like that. So Iperia is just good because you normal summon it, and you draw a card to replace it in your hand to hopefully get either a danger or more of your ritual support. Next, up to these spells for you guys. So of course, since this is a dark deck, I'm playing 3 Allure of Darkness. Though I don't really like to banish most of the dark monsters in this deck, the fact that I'm playing Danger Ogopogo, which his effect only really helps during the one by sending the one card. I'll show you guys a little bit later to the grave. Once I use Ogopogo's effect the first time, he's probably the best target for Lure of Darkness. But of course, we do run so many dark monsters in the deck that you can use it when you're in a crunch and you just need that extra draw power. The better draw card, however, though, is the 3 copies of Trade-In. Because Trade-In allows you to discard your level 8 danger monsters or your Litmus Doom Soldier in order to draw 2 cards. It's not once per turn, just like a Lure of Darkness, and also Trade-In gets off your danger monster's effects. So not only do you draw 2 cards, but if you send Bigfoot, you get to pop a monster. You send Thunderbird, you get to destroy your spell or trap card, and Ogopogo lets you use its effect as well. Now for Ogopogo, I'm just going to show you guys right now, I'm playing the 1 Danger Response Team. Danger Response Team, if you use it as a regular spell card, if it's in your hand, you can target 1 danger monster you control and 1 monster on the opponent's side of the field and bounce them both back to the hand. But if this card is in the graveyard, you can discard a danger monster from your hand to place it on the bottom, to place this card on the bottom of the deck and draw 1 card. Basically, what this does is Ogopogo, if you have to discard Ogopogo, you use its effect to send this to the grave, and then you use this card's effect to send another danger from your hand to the grave, put this card at the bottom of your deck, and then you draw a card. So it helps you dig a little deeper into your graveyard as well as, again, getting off your danger effects. Or dig a little deeper into your deck, not graveyard, sorry. Next up, for some ritual support, I play the 3 Pre-Preparation of Rites. And then, because of course this card is required and it's actually really good, I'm also playing the 3 ritual spell card, Litmus Doom Ritual. Now, Litmus Doom Ritual is actually quite a good ritual card. What it does is, of course, it's used for Litmus Doom Swordsman, but additionally, if it's in the graveyard, you can target 1 Litmus Doom Swordsman in your graveyard and shuffle both it and Litmus Doom Ritual from your graveyard back into the deck and draw 1 card. You can only use this effect a hard once per turn, but this is a very good resetting effect, as well as it lets you draw deeper into the deck to hopefully get another Litmus Doom Swordsman, or a pre-prep would be really cool. But ultimately just keep recycling itself and getting you a draw as well. The final 2 spell cards in the deck are actually to go with the fact that we do have to play traps because of Litmus Doom Swordsman, and that's 2 Magic Planter. Most of the time we want our continuous traps to stay on the field, but it's an option to not only get those traps off the field in case they conflict if they're floodgates, but also to help you, again, dig a little deeper into the deck. Now on to the traps. First up for the traps, I'm playing, of course, right now this format, it's very good. There can be only 1. I always want to say there can only be 1, but it's actually there can be only 1. And this just allows players to only control 1 of each type of monster. So if they're playing like Salamangrates, for instance, they can't control more than 1 Cyburst monster and stuff like that. All the cards in this deck are like different types, which is really interesting because like Ogopogo's Sea Serpent, Manju is Fairy, Hyperia is Reptile, Litmus Doom Swordsman is, I believe, Warrior. I'm pretty sure Warrior. Yeah, it's Warrior. And so ultimately you're just playing a lot of different options, and it's good because you can use Magical Planter to get this off of the field in order to not only draw, but just in case you want more than 1 Doom Soldier out on the field at one time, or Doom Swordsman out on the field at one time. Next up, I'm playing 3 copies of, again, really weird, bad card, but Dark Factory of More Production. This card's very interesting because what it does is it is a continuous trap card, and once per turn, you can send 1 monster from your hand or field to the graveyard to draw 1 card. And you can only use its effect a hard once per turn, so sadly you can't have like multiple out and like use them all once per turn or anything like that. But the power with this card is, since we aren't using Hyperia for anything other than since we have a free normal summon and just to get a draw, what you can do is normal summon Hyperia and draw one card, and then use the effect of this to tribute that Hyperia in order to draw another card. So Hyperia becomes a very convoluted pot of greed in a sense. Definitely a lot more setup, and it's not really because you need 2 cards instead of the 1, but you get what I mean. This is like an interesting draw engine, quote unquote, that I thought actually worked pretty well in this deck in particular, since again we aren't worried about our normal summon. Additionally, because of the Litmus ritual card being able to recycle itself and your Litmus Doom Swordsman, what you can do is you can even tribute the Doom Swordsman in your hand for this card's effect, and then just put it back into your deck with the ritual if you don't need it at the time or anything like that. I thought that was an interesting interaction with the deck as well. And then finally, I'm playing 1 Spiritual Swords of Revealing Light, because not only is its on-field effect, which is once per attack when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can pay 1,000 life points to negate that attack, and during your opponent's turn, you can banish it from your graveyard, and your opponent cannot attack directly. So it helps you prolong your life, since of course this deck is pretty fragile and glass cannon-y. This, as well as the there can be only one, are both like 2 cards that kind of slow the game down a little bit and just help you out. Now on to the extra deck. Now the extra deck is honestly not too important because I don't go into it too much, because I want to keep it like purely the ritual like Litmus Doom Swordsman deck, but for the most part I just put some normal cards that normal link monsters anyway, that I try to fit into all the decks I can, which is 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Pentastag, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, and then a Borrelsword Dragon. So like I said, these are just like normal, generic, like run-of-the-mill link monsters people usually put into their decks. There's nothing revolutionary about it. I just figured because like the Nightmares can give you some generic spot removal, Borrelsword just in case you're able to swarm the field a little bit. Usually you can't though, but if you get enough danger special summoning, then it works out. And then like Underclock Taker and Pentastag just for some attack gaining and stuff to make your Litmus Doom Swordsman a little better. Next up, I just play some generic rank 8, so number 68 because people like doing stuff in the graveyard. Number 22, Zombie Stein, because it has a pretty substantial attack power. Number 38 is probably my favorite of the rank 8s because, of course, he like negates spell cards, and also he chooses your opponent's attacks to come to him and stuff, so he's definitely a good option. And then I'm also running just the number 62, number 107, whatever, the Galaxy Eyes package, like the rank 8s. They can like kind of go into themselves and stuff like that. I don't really use it too much, but it definitely is an option, especially since we're running so many level 8 monsters. Like I said, I don't even think this is a full 15. I think it's like 12 extra deck cards. Ultimately, though, it's just there because, again, this deck has ways to get into the extra deck, so might as well give it the options just in case it needs to. Ultimately, this deck sucks, but it's super fun. You can make it more anti-meta or whatever you'd like in it, but I kind of ran it this way to secure getting Litmus Doom Swordsman out as quickly as possible because he's like the boss monster of the deck, and it's just a super fun deck. And it's dangers get a lot of slack and stuff because they are really, really good, but this deck kind of epitomizes the fact that the danger monsters definitely help rogue options out a lot, but the inverse effect of that is they also help strong decks become even stronger, which is why sometimes dangers are considered a problem. But ultimately in this deck, they work healthily to make Litmus Doom Swordsman just a little better. Just a little disclaimer, I realized throughout this entire video, I don't know how many times I've done it, but I keep calling Litmus Doom Swordsman Litmus Doom Soldier. Please forgive me for that, but ultimately, thank you guys for watching the video. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and let me know what you would add to the deck or remove to make it a little better. Thank you so much. I'm JC Theater Yu-Gi-Oh! See ya!